We'll have to see what they do. It's going to be. I played a Mistweaver in this comp before, and it's very difficult. You have to put up with a lot. You have to expose your tree a lot. And not only that, but Mighty Axe and Bird are going to be able to spell his Enveloping Mist, which are a major part of his heals. So he has to do an excellent job rotating his cooldowns, make sure he doesn't fall behind, and get out the heals when he absolutely needs to, while also avoiding a lot of incoming CC. Looks like Valido Omnivore going to be opening up on a Burt right away. They want to start sort of shut down some of that initial CC, but Burt doesn't care. He's going to Blazing Speed, Deep Sheep, DJ Ratslayer immediately, and Omnivore already having to use his heals as well as his Die by the Sword to prevent some of that incoming damage. DJ Ratslayer actually nimble brewing out of that fear and throwing the Life Cocoon out on the Omnivore, and this is not the start our Monk Sucks wants.
Yeah, the Polymorph was stolen by Valido. Unfortunately, it's going to break onto Rubcubs from the diseases. Omnivore trying to make a bit of a turnaround here, popping the Recklessness onto Mighty X, but the Avenging Wrath is still up for Rubcubs. He's going to easily top him off. They did manage to get his Trinket throughout that. DJ Ratslayer playing as far back as he can, but Burt going for another Deep Sheep. He does get gripped back on it, so Mighty X is going to have to fear him instead. They land the full fear. DJ Ratslayer actually going to Trinket out of that, as Omnivore was in a bit of trouble here. He's going to get full poly though on his Trinket. Omnivore on the defensive at the moment, down to 29%, desperately trying to line his sight. The Master Fleck comes out. It's going to break up the CC chain here. DJ Ratslayer pops the Ore Master to get Omnivore topped off. He's doing a good job so far.
Yeah, but he's already used the Life Cocoon, Revival, Nimble Brew, Trinket. Basically every cooldown he has available has been used. Burt taking a lot of damage there, dipping down quite hard. The save by the Light proccing on him. Bop actually was forced out not too long ago as well, but now DJ Ratslayer caught into the full fear. He has no outs. Now a Deep Freeze out, has that Life Cocoon as an answer though, and Omnivore is going to be fine for quite some time, but DJ Ratslayer, he's going to be CC'd for this entire duration, so he's not going to be able to get too much on the Omnivore through that Life Cocoon. Finally breaking up that CC a little bit. Gets caught into the DR Sheep. He was able to get a few heals on the Omnivore. Now Omnivore is going to be fine until the next CC chain, I believe.
Yeah, Rubcubs using the Avenging Wrath to top off Burt, keep his team as offensive as they possibly can. Valido getting swapped to. He's going to go into Blood Presence to reduce the incoming damage, or down to 60%. Omnivore getting cleaved as well. Full dots onto both players. Mighty getting pressured here, but Rubcub should be able to easily heal through it. Now the setup on the Omnivore. He's horrified. Burt looking to land a full Polymorph here. They land the Polymorph Omnivore into the Hodge, out of the Horrify. They're trying to take him down here. Double Devouring Plague down into Shadow Word Death Range. Die by the Sword. Rallying Cry come out in desperation. Still so low. Down to 7%. The Denounce connects. Master Fleck comes up. Trying to stay alive here. The rally's going to fade, but the Life Cocoon's going to come out. He's going to stabilize here at 16%. Valido forcing the Ice Block out from Burt. In the meantime, Omnivore has to find some way to get his HP a little bit higher.
Yeah, Ratslayer actually got locked out there too, finally able to channel a Soothing Mist into the Deep Freeze though. The Enrage Regeneration coming out from Omnivore is going to Trinket that Hodge from Rubcubs. Burt getting pressured down though at 40% HP. DJ Ratslayer in a full Sheep. He has Trinket up in 5 seconds. Is it going to come up enough in time? Omnivore down to 24% HP, 10% HP. The Trinket just comes out. He's going to be able to Trinket the Fear and get a few heals on the Omnivore. The Soothing Mist comes out, Enveloping Mist out. Omnivore's most likely going to get topped off, but DJ Ratslayer still not out of CC yet. Finally, the Polymorphs are done, but he's in a Frostjaw. Rubcub's actually in a full Sheep. Valido doing an excellent job stealing Burt's Sheep there, putting Rubcubs into that CC, and that's what they need to do. They need to get the CC onto Rubcubs so they can pressure Mighty X and Burt, because, I don't know, right now, You Reckon Mate has all the momentum in their favor, and I think that Valido and Omnivore need to start looking at Mighty X as a target instead of Burt, because they're not really able to make too much happen on him.
But the full Polymorph lands on a DJ Ratslayer. Omnivore could easily go down to 14%. The Shadow Word Death's finally going to be connecting, and our monks still suck. They renamed themselves to this, apparently. Are going to be losing here on the Grand Arena. It's a best of 3. Losing the first map is not a good position to be in, especially when you lose it so convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel for DJ Ratslayer. That's a matchup I played a lot, actually, the last time I queued TSG, and it's not fun, as you saw. You're CC'd all game.
Yeah, he never really caught a break, huh? The setups coming out from You Reckon Mate just never ended. Like, they always had something to set up after setting up.
That game was 4 minutes long, and DJ Ratslayer was put into... It was under 4 minutes long. I think it was like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And DJ Ratslayer was actually CC'd for almost 2 minutes there, so... At least half the game, he didn't control his character. Literally.
I'm going to go ahead and ask if You Reckon Mate is going to be running that same composition here, and if they are, we'll be, yep, they are. So the next map is going to be Dalaran Sewers. chosen by our Monk Still Sucks. So with a double melee composition, do you think Dalaran Sewers is going to give this team a big enough edge to take down this Holy Pally God comp? Realistically?
I'm not convinced of that. I think this is a very uphill battle for them, and what they need to do is I think they need to be more aggressive than they're being. Instead of using all their cooldowns defensively, they need to be aggressive. They need to get some pressure on the Mighty X, force CC out of Red Cubs and Mighty X, potentially just have, I mean, DJ Ratzler, he's going to get CC'd anyways. You might as well push it and get an in-cap and a leg sweep onto Red Cubs so they can get something going on to Mighty X and just use those cooldowns offensively to stay aggressive. And, I mean, it's sort of ride or die at that point, because it doesn't seem like if they play the safe game, they really have much of a shot, at least looking at the last game.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Omnivore and Valito like to drag games out as long as they can. They feel that if they're able to make the game go long, that they can pull off wins. And they were getting cooldowns, even though it looked so grim. They got ice blocks and bops out of the way, rotated through 2 Avenging Wraths. They just need a little bit more pressure to push through the rest of it. And I'm not sure if DJ Ratslayer is like their main monk, or if that is Adela's ult or something. Maybe it's a little bit of an uncomfort thing, playing with a new player. But either way, they're going to have to figure it out quick. This is their last chance. DJ Ratzler already displaying Vampiric Touch. He's seen himself for a little bit, but it's not going to end up mattering here. Of Omnivore actually popping the Recklessness Blade Storm onto Mighty X as well as Bird. Bird's going to blink away from it, land the Deep Freeze. DJ Ratzler going to nimble out of that Deep Freeze. Unfortunately, now into a full silence, and Omnivore's dipping low. He Trinket, Rallying Cries, die by the swords. Regen heals are up. All of the cooldowns in the book are being used to try and stabilize here. DJ Ratzler finally leaving that fear here initially. A full Polymorph was stolen by Valito. Now onto Rub Cubs. It does get Mass Dispelled by Mighty X, however, and with that Avenging Wrath up, he's going to easily top off Bert. He's going to actually have to Trinket that Stormbolt, though, to top off Bert. Now into a full fear. Bert falling a little bit behind here. Rub Cubs choosing to bop him. Valito getting pressured down to 30% here. A bit of a close call for Bert, but he's going to hold on to both of his blocks.
Yeah, but now our Monk Sucks is going to be the one that's in trouble. Even though Mighty X is taking a lot of damage right now, down to 66% HP, Omnivore has no cooldowns left, and that is the full fear on a DJ Ratzler. He does have Trinket available. Life Cocoon's going to be coming up in not too long into the Deep Freeze. If he gets Polymorphed here, it's most likely going to be his Trinket. Omnivore down to 31% HP, in a lot of trouble. DJ Ratzler deciding to dispel him, actually gets that Vampiric Embrace CC onto himself, pardon me. Now Omnivore actually catching a huge heal there. DJ Ratzler finally able to get that Aura Mastery up and top him off very, very quickly. Now Rub Cubs caught into the full 68. Mighty X down to 40% HP. Taking a lot of damage. The sack coming out actually from Rub Cubs. Save of the Light proccing as well. Rub Cubs does have a bop available if he needs it, as well as Mighty X having dispersed. Bert has both his blocks available if he needs it. Down to 28% HP, actually having to use that Ice Block. Omnivore actually getting the Life Cocoon from DJ Ratzler there. So both teams forcing so many cooldowns.
Yep, Rub Cubs now into the Stormbolt. Unfortunately, Omnivore is rooted. He's not able to connect just yet. Trying to catch up to Bert. Bert now Rub Cubs into the half asphyxiate. Bert can take a bit of burst here, but Rub Cubs leaving the CC, has the Avenging Wrath off, tops him off very quickly. Valito getting spam Polymorph. DJ Ratzler trying to keep him out of that crowd control and keep the damage rolling here. Rub Cubs Avenging Wrath going to be fading shortly. Bert looking like he wants to make a play here. Blinks. I believe he got gripped back on the blink, so he's not going to be able to land any sheeps for a while here. Trying to go for a deep sheep out in the open. DJ Ratzler nimbles out of the deep. Line of sights the Polymorph. Omnivore heroic leaves back in defense. Mighty trying to push into maybe Land of Fear, now pulling out, realizing he would probably take quite a bit of damage overextending like that, but now he's going to get Stormbolted with an Asphyxiate onto Rub Cubs, the double stun combo, trying to take Mighty down. He's desperately trying to run away here in Fear. He gets gripped back on the Feather Sprint. Rub Cubs has to use his second bop onto Mighty's here, who's down to 40%, trying to protect it with that rebuff. Now swapping over to Bert, down to 50%, down to 40%. He's in desperation mode right now. The sacrifice comes out from Rub Cubs to try and reduce some incoming damage. Saved by the Light is going to proc. DJ Ratzler, though, getting deep frozen in the backline. The full Polymorph is going to land. He has his Trinket. He's choosing to Trinket here. Gets the Life Cocoon up prior to the silence. Omnivore Trinketing as well. A bit of an overlap, but now the pressure's starting to roll in the TSG's favor. Rub Cubs desperately trying to top him off. Gets the Execution Sense onto Mighty. He doesn't have the Avenging Wrath available for some time. Valito getting swapped to. He's going to get Polymorph, though. Counteract all that damage, unfortunately. Rub Cubs starting to down to 43%. If there was anything going good, it is going to be Rub Cubs mana.
Yeah, absolutely. And Omnivore actually used his Enrage Regeneration as well as his Trinket on that last swap. DJ Ratzler also has no Trinket available, so the next swap they do on him could be devastating, but they need to be able to push in onto Omnivore. And DJ Ratzler actually doing an excellent job dispelling up Omnivore on that disarm from the Shadow Priest. But Burt in a lot of trouble, down to 25% HP, 18% HP, 13% HP, getting the block off in the nick of time. Rubcub's caught into that full sheet. Velito doing an excellent job stealing that from Burt there. Rubcub's actually having to use his bubble, and now Mighty X is the one that's being attacked. Burt has no ice blocks left for another 48 seconds. Mighty X actually does have his disperse available for him. Rubcubs has no cooldown, so to keep his team up. So if this TSG can keep up the pressure and sort of force them on the back foot, DJ Ratzler is not going to be in as much CC. He's going to be able to get out those heals and keep his team aggressive. Burt, 43% HP. Rubcubs getting feared up there. The full deep sheep coming out from DJ Ratzler. They need to turn it around, but DJ Ratzler doing an excellent job pre-bubbling Omnivore through that damage. Velito getting swapped to, having to use that AMS. The full fear going out on the DJ Ratzler at the moment. Rubcub's caught into that incapacitation into the DR sheep. Burt down to 40% HP, has that block up in 10 seconds. Will he be able to survive? Rubcub's actually throwing out the sacrifice there to reduce some of that incoming damage transferred onto himself. DJ Ratzler caught into that full frost draw at the moment, but he gets out of that and his team's topped off. But Rubcub's mana is looking like it's going to be the issue for Team You Reckon, mate.
Yep, dampening about to start here. Burt making a last-ditch effort, lands the full Deep Freeze Polymorph. Omnivore trinkets the Horrify, but into a full Hammer of Justice. DJ Ratzler trinket revivals him out of that stun, allowing him to heroically defensively here at the boxes, trying to stay connected with DJ Ratzler, who does manage to top him off. Stormbolt onto Mighty X here. Colossus Smash is going to connect. Rubcubs pops the Avenging Wrath. He's going to have to trinket out of the Asphyxiate to top off Mighty X here, who's trying to pull away. Paralyzed now under Rubcubs out from DJ Ratzler. That's the CC chain that they need to be getting a little bit more often to get the kill here. Mighty X down to 50%, dampening finally kicking in here. Rubcub's also down to 6% mana. Burt landing the full Deep Sheep here. Omnivore getting horrified. I'm not sure if the Hodge is available out of that. Doesn't look like it is, but DJ Ratzler pre-life cocooned it regardless, and now Burt is in trouble. He's got one more block left. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Blazing Speed defensively gets a life grid back to the box, but the TSG, Velito, and Omnivore don't care. They're just going to swap over to Rubcubs. Now into the half Asphyxiate here. He has no bubble. He has one bop. He's going to shield wall to try and reduce the damage. Velito and Omnivore know that they can't jump off this edge and risk their lives here. They're just going to swap over to Mighty X on the top side, who looks like he's trying to push in maybe to get a fear on the DJ Ratzler. DJ Ratzler playing very far back. Stormbolt onto Mighty X. He's going to trinket that and get bopped. They're just going to swap over to Burt. Our Monk still sucks is just everywhere, but they're in trouble right now. He's going to have to use the regen heal to heal through all this burst coming through. Denounce is flying in from Rubcubs to try and end the game. Die by the sword. Rallying Cry gets used down to 13%, down to 8%. I don't think there's any way you survive this. Ice Nova connects. Rally's going to fall in 3 seconds here, but in the meantime, Burt gets taken out. Omnivore survives, and You Reckon, mate, suddenly losing a game here, tying this up 1-1.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
unbelievable.
That
was crazy.
That was
That was
some
such a good
sense,
game.
man. I don't know. What do you think about that game, Ben? Do you think that You Reckon, mate, messed up, or do you think Our Monk Still Sucks changed something up to win that game for them?
Well, I liked what DJ Ratzler was doing that game. He was just using Trinket, like instead of, like the second something hit him, he would just use his Nibble. So when Burt pushed in to deep freeze him, he would just Nibble. So his team stays at 100% HP, they don't fall behind. It's a little scary to do that, but I'd rather him use his cooldowns early than sort of fall behind. Because what happens is, like, you get caught in a really scary situation and you end up like trinketing a polymorph, then you get silenced, and then you get feared out of it, and you end up just using everything to sort of play catch up. Instead, it's better to just never fall behind, I think, and you get to keep your team aggressive, and they get to have pressure. And I think DJ Ratzler did a good job of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the very end there, where Our Monk Sucks, their Monk did not have an out of all that CC, and they somehow, Omnivore stayed alive. And I think Omnivore was actually stacking on top of on the Monk to try to prevent those Ice Novas from falling in on him, or just like the AoE from breaking the CC. But I don't know. They somehow survived, and Burt went down. A very intense game coming out between these two teams, tying it up 1-1, making it a pretty intense series, guys. So the next win is going to determine who advances here in tournament number 17. Now, the team that advances is going to go up against Proxy.net, the tournament favorite in the semifinals, but this is single elimination. So the next game, the very next game, is going to determine who's getting eliminated and who's advancing. Just so exciting about single elimination. That's always a good time. So, looks like this team, You Reckon, mate, they're gonna bring it to Tolvaron Arena, a very large map, to try to make it a bit easier for this caster team to survive against this double melee. I do think it's going to give them an advantage, but after watching that last game, I don't know. Maybe our Monk Sucks figured something out and is making it work.
They barely made it work, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a really close game, and not only that, but Bert had his ice block.
Yeah, Bert had another ice block available.
He had a block to survive. I don't know if that would have won them the game, but that was an exceptionally close game. One of the closest games I think we've seen on GCD. So anything could happen, and it's when a game can be that close, it's scary, especially when your tournament life is on the line. Only the next game determines who wins and who's out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Something to note is that this team, this TSG, made so many swaps, and when you're swapping against the Holy Paladin, it really forces him to either switch that beacon around or to go like Rub Cubs did that game. And so I'm not sure if he could try to switch that beacon around and get some of his mana refreshed back at him as he casts into the targets that have beacon, or if that's just going to be the story every single game against this team because this TSG just switches so much. I don't know. We're going to find out here pretty shortly, guys, jumping into game number 3.
I think when you're watching TSG play that you have to listen to the Ballroom Blitz song.
Oh, yeah? Or you have to play
it. It's like the theme song for TSG.
Yeah, I could see that.
Blitz.
Alright, so
Ballroom
Blitz.
Makes you want to dance.
Yeah, that is a dancing song, absolutely. But so if that's a Ballroom Blitz, is that song for TSG? What song would we give WLS?
WLS?
I
don't know. Some like.
What is that?
Viking death
song?
metal.
Viking death metal.
What?
Yeah, some Amon
Dashboard Light or something by Meatloaf. What is it? Saved by the Dashboard Light or something? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I have no idea what song.
I'm talking about. Really, no idea what I'm talking about. I'm gonna find it.
Alright, if you find it, I'll play it. So we're just waiting on Team You Reckon Mate. They are going to be downloading a new add-on. Apparently their current add-on isn't working correctly. Something to note, guys, currently in War Games, if you are competing in War Games, you do need to use a different version of Gladius other than the normal version of Gladius. You have to use Gladius EX or Gladius WAD. Those are the only versions of Gladius I currently know of that work in GCD TV tournaments and future tournaments as well. So if you want to compete in future tournaments, I do recommend getting used to some other add-ons, or maybe even S Arena does work as well. Any plans for 2v2? Death Parrot at the moment, not really. It's not the most competitive bracket in the world. I mean, there's still a bajillion teams queuing 2v2, but as a spectator event, I feel like 2v2 might be a bit slower. But, I don't know. The Wednesday community days, we always try to change things up, and we did try a 2v2 tournament recently, but we didn't allow any healers, just DPS only, and it worked out pretty good. It was actually a lot of fun, but to have like a 2v2 tournament with DPS and healers, I'm not sure exactly if we'd be willing to do that. Maybe if there's enough people that want us to do it, we'd probably do it.
What about like a 5v5 tournament?
Oh my god, I would love to watch a 5v5 tournament, I must say.
Me too.
That would be a good time for me. 5v5 tournaments, it's a lot of players, so it's hard to keep track of, but it's not impossible to keep track of. And so you can really keep track of every player and every ability, and sometimes 5v5s can be just explosive, and that's really cool to me. 5v5 arenas is kind of what inspired us to start looking at 6v6 tournaments.
6v6 tournaments?
Yeah, we recently just started
for
doing
RBGs?
that. Yeah, for our RBGs.
No, they're fun.
They're a good time.
I feel like I wish RPGs were sort of just shifted into like 6v6 or 5v5 or 7v7, something like that. 10 gets overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that. It's 2v2, no healers would be fast.
You need to bind like Focus Arena 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Rub Cubs, for whatever reason, is not available to queue. Oh, hold on. Gotta make sure that he's leader. 2v2 would just be Feral, Ret, X. Potentially, yeah. Hybrids, if there's no healers involved, would be fairly strong, though. But if we were to host like a serious tournament, we don't really want to put any restrictions on what compositions you'd be playing. I mean, we did put a restriction in this tournament on compositions like double healer or double tank, because we really want to avoid really drawn out, long, boring games. But I don't know. If you wanted to make like a really competitive tournament, you really can't put a limit on what teams can sign up with. So if it was a non-community day tournament, we'd probably rock we've allowed healers in. Yeah. All right. What's the story, Hannah? Are we gonna be jumping in here pretty soon?
I thought they were ready.
Oh, all right. Let's try this again, guys. Tolvaron Arena, the last map of this best of 3 series. One wargame request has gone out. Hello?
Hi.
What is happening, man?
Hola.
Como está? Is that how you say that? I took French.
I took French too, and German.
What? Wait, what did you say?
Como está?
That is not French.
No, I know. That's why it's so bad.
Why did you say that you took French when you're not?
But you
He's
missed
saying
the...
he doesn't know Spanish because he took French.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
Okay, well, can you speak French?
No. Not even a little
Then
bit.
why did you take French?
Yeah, huh?
The reason why I took French is because if I took French instead of Spanish, then my study hall would be the very first period of the day, and then I got to hang out with my friends.
No.
True story.
Did you pass French?
I don't know why it's not working.
Twice. And that was it. And then the other 2 years I did not. Here we go. Yes! Double wargame request, please! Please! Save us! Nope, it didn't work. Why is this happening, guys? Alright, it worked. I just have to complain about it. Alright, guys. The last map of this best of 3 series is going to be played out on Tolvaron Arena. Alright, everybody, welcome to Tolvaron Arena. It is our Monk Still Sucks versus You Reckon Mate. It's tied 1-1 here in the best of 3 series. This game is going to determine who's eliminated and who's advancing.
Yep. Tournament life on the line for our Monk Still Sucks and You Reckon Might. Last game was exceptionally scary for both teams, so this match could definitely go either way. If I had to put my money on it, I'd say You Reckon Mate is going to come out victorious, but like I said, anything can happen.
Do I have to root for the underdogs? I'll root for the other side of Our Monk Still Sucks. They pulled off a very good game defensively while still outputting the pressure to Rub Cubs throughout all of it. But this time around, You Reckon Mate knows that they win the game in the open, and they're not even going to a pillar at the moment, just staying on their mounts. Burt possibly going for an invis here shortly to maybe land some CC. I would think that would be his best move. Now he's going into stealth to try and sneak in for a sneaky poly. Mighty X throwing down some feathers for Burt as well. Now Spectral Guys comes out maybe to land a fear as well. Burt not pushing forward just yet. Rub Cub's already getting dotted out. Mighty X does land the full fear. He's going to get opened on, however. Burt getting gripped in here by Valito. DJ Retzler getting silenced. The Master Fleck comes out for Omnivore to try and eat that polymorph. Unfortunately, it was not able to. The full polymorph is going to land. Omnivore die by the swords preemptively to reduce all this damage. He's going to have to use his regeneration heal to try and sustain himself. Die by the sword is going to be fading, dipping down to 30%. It's looking like a similar open to the last game, but Valito stealing a polymorph in the meantime, landing that onto Rub Cubs. Mighty X getting storm bolted, but the entire side of both teams didn't have to trigger that opener regardless of how much pressure was coming out.
Yeah, Omnivore actually getting topped off there. His bubble's going to fade, and Mighty X is the one that's in a little bit of trouble right now. And I believe DJ Ratzler doesn't have a statue down right now, unfortunately, so he's going to be losing out on that additional healing coming out of a statue. Burt down to 15%. The huge execution sentence coming out of Rub Cubs, though, actually gets asphyxiated up and trinkets that immediately. He wants to take advantage of his wings, top off his team, and he's going to be able to. DJ Ratzler just playing so far back right now. Omnivore realizing he's in a little bit of trouble, pulling back to DJ Ratzler at the moment. Gets topped off quickly. Now he's going to go back into the action, making sure Ren's up on the water elemental. Just a little bit of extra healing Rub Cubs is going to have to deal with. And it looks like the Avenging Wrath is going to fade. Burt's getting chunked down pretty hard. Blinks in, actually gets a Deep Sheep onto DJ Ratzler. DJ Ratzler deciding to trinket and bubble Omnivore. Omnivore, I think, also used the trinket. The Recklessness coming out right now. They want to get the pressure rolling now that they have that Life Cocoon as sort of a safety net. Burt just spamming out the polymorph slow. He realizes his team's in trouble. The Asphyxiate going out onto Rub Cubs, and because of that, Mighty X is going to have to go into that Disperse. And this TSG is doing so well.
Yeah, Valito's always like almost carrying his team, stealing those polymorphs and forcing the cooldowns out from Rub Cubs. If they didn't have that polymorph chain, there's no way they would have got the disperse out from Mighty X. But in the meantime, Burt blazing speeds across. DJ Ratslayer nimbles out of the deep freeze and paralyzes Burt, shutting down his polymorph CC chain. Now Omnivore heroic leaping back onto Burt to force him out. Asphyxia onto Rub Cubs. He's gonna have to bubble out of that. Mighty X was dipping very low. Execution Sense is gonna top him off, but now they just swap over to Burt. Colossus Smash comes up, chunking him down to 50%. Life grips him back to safety next to Rub Cubs here, but Mighty X is going to get gripped back by Valito into the center of the map. Omnivore and Valito have a choice now to overextend and leave DJ Ratslayer exposed. Mighty X trying to drag them out of line of sight. Omnivore going for the Blade Storm here, lands a full fear onto Rub Cubs with no trinket available. He's going to bop Mighty X. Valito's going to be looking to try and get that off. He gets the bop off. The full 60 onto Rub Cubs. He's going to have to bop himself off, and now Omnivore into the full Hodge. The regeneration heal comes out. Will be enough. The denouncers are connecting down to 1%, and it's not going to be enough. Our monk still sucks, overextending even in the slightest, are going to get shut down by You Reckon Mate.
Yeah, I guess they smelled blood in the water. I mean, their strategy was working so well, but as soon as DJ Ratslayer came off that pillar, it was over. And I